Good evening, ladies. A panel of beautiful ladies tonight on Polly with Me to Win Sky. We're actually gonna change the name soon. We'll let you guys know, get you the updates. Good evening, Sky. Hi, Val. Hi, Kira.
Hi.
We are here tonight, and tonight's topic. What is it, Sky? We can't hear you.
Uh-oh. Mute.
I think
Uh-oh.
she's having some issues.
Internet is messing up.
Hello?
Okay.
We can't hear you. We can't hear you, Sky.
Mm-mm.
So while she's figuring it out, we will just go. So our topic tonight is polyamory and monogamy. Hi, Maritza. Um, we put verses, but it's not really a competition. It's nothing like that. But we kind of like to um, get a little something out of the people, right? But this is just a regular conversation. We're all gonna talk. So what we're gonna do is go around the room, and everybody will introduce themselves, um, and what you identify as far as polyamorous or monogamous or whatever. So.
You want to start?
Oh, sure. My name is Me Too Charles. Some of you know me, some don't. We started the podcast to kind of talk around polyamory, Sky and I, because we are very passionate about it. I am originally from Haiti, grew up there, came here I guess, as a young adult, and I lived a monogamous life up till about almost 5 years ago. And I am enjoying living life as a polyamorous because I feel like that is my true um, orientation, way of life. So yes, tonight we have a couple of you guys. So I think maybe let's have Val go around first.
Sure. I'm Valerie. Haitian American, raised in the States, raised in Miami. I moved to Georgia, it's been 10, 12 years now, which is crazy to me. I am monogamous, but I would say monogamous because I was raised that way.
Okay. All right.
You'd like me to go
Kira.
next? Good
Yes.
evening. My name is Kira. I am from the United States Virgin Islands, St. Thomas to be exact. I attended Emory University here and then went back home and returned here to Georgia in 2017. So I am monogamous. And the short, quick answer to that is my heart and my vagina are closely tied together. So, yeah, I'm monogamous.
All right. That's a good way to put it.
Yes.
Sky, I think we're still having issues getting you.
It's probably best to log out then log back in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll have to watch for her to bring her back in. Oh man. Technology. We were just talking about that. We love it, but it also can be such a headache.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because
So
none of
yeah.
us know how to fix it.
Exactly. And we don't have any younger children on this broadcast, so unfortunately. But yeah, I don't want to start without Sky. But um, maybe I'll just elaborate a little bit more as while we wait for her. But yeah, I was married once for 10 years, and I always knew, even at a younger age, I always knew I was not monogamous. I just didn't have a term for it. Didn't really understand. I just knew what I knew. And I would try to have some conversations later on in life. And then by the time I was working on my divorce, and I kept talking about it with some friends. And okay, okay, let me let her in real quick. Uh, I was talking to some friends, and they were able to direct me to uh, what it is polyamory, as I know it today. And then I realized, yes, that's what I've been looking for all along. And almost 5 years ago, I started the journey, and here we are. Sky, can you hear us? But we still can't hear you for some reason. Did you unmute?
It seemed like it's the internet connection.
Okay, because she was fine earlier. We were just talking.
Hmm.
So, yeah. Well, we're just gonna go ahead and get started then while Sky figures it out. So,
So it's 2 against 1 now.
I know, right? What a war! This is not a fair
Well,
war.
considering her stance, us two is that's her numbers. So I mean, she's
I
okay
know,
with it.
right? It's all right. Um, but yeah, so I want to ask you first, Val. You said you are monogamous because that's how you were brought up.
Mhm.
So, can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah,
Like,
sure.
would you choose differently?
I think yes, um, but maybe no at the same time. So yes, because I'm older and the wiser, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm more like accepting of my decisions and not caring about what other people think.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why it would be yes. Maybe the reason why it would be no, only because of how I was raised. Like, you know how kind of sometimes you learn things and it's kind of set in stone in your system. So I learned
Mm-hmm.
so young and saw everyone else kind of doing the same thing. So I kind of feel like I'm set in stone. But if the opportunity opened itself to me, I think I would be more willing to give it a chance, if that makes sense. So I know I learned when I was in college about polyamory, and I actually had one of my classmates who was polyamorous. So I learned, in my 20s what polyamory was, and I respected it. I was like, that makes so much sense. So to me, polyamory makes 100% sense. But, sometimes there are habits that we have, or when I was younger, I wouldn't be afraid how my family would judge me, my mom, my peers. So then I probably wouldn't have done it because I don't want anyone to keep talking to me. But now that I'm older, I don't care what anybody thinks. I want to live my best life and be my best person. So that's why it would be, a mixture between yes and no. It depends.
So you said if you were presented the opportunity, you probably would. What does that mean?
I think it means, I guess right now I'm in a monogamous relationship, and hopefully,
Mm-hmm.
knock on wood, we continue, But if afterwards, I think I would be more open to be monogamous or polyamorous. You see what I mean? Like, so I'm open to
Oh, so
both.
you would be open if your husband would be open to it as well?
Well, I don't think I would get married anymore. I mean, right now, I'm in a monogamous relationship right now. I'm married right now. If we were to get divorced, then
Oh, okay, I see.
yes, to being polyamorous. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand it. So you would not consider it in the relationship that you have now. Why not?
Uh, that's a good question. I think we are both. Let me not speak for Reggie, but I think we're both honestly monogamous because the way we were raised. But I know I do have a little bit of I'm territorial, which I think we talked about that before. That's under the category of jealousy, but I don't see myself as a jealous person because if somebody tried to hit on my husband, I don't necessarily get mad. I learned a long time ago, like it's a compliment. Like everybody wants your mate. Like that's a compliment.
Mm-hmm.
take it that everyone, just because someone flirts or is compliments your mate doesn't mean like they want to take them away from you. So, but
Right.
I am territorial in the sense of I like to know where he is, what he's doing, kind of thing. I don't know.
So I mean, so because you said if you like to know what he's doing, where he is, so what if you knew that he was with another person after you guys, of course, had the conversation, not just like, oh, I decided this is what I'm gonna do. Let's say, because you say as long as like you'd like to know where he is, what he. I feel like I'm monopolizing this conversation right now, but like, so would you be okay knowing that, oh, he's with a girlfriend at the
Mm.
moment?
I think I would say yes, only if we get to talk about it a lot.
Okay,
If the person
fair enough.
talk, then I'm gonna have a hard time with that. And I'm not saying like talking like a jealousy or type of
Right.
like angry, just kind of like understand more. So my thing is I'm always pro communication and pro being honest about your feelings. So if
Right.
my spouse said, I want to consider doing this, I think it would be really hard for me at first. But if you keep talking to me and explaining things to me, I think I would definitely be open to that.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Sky, are you with us? Oh my God.
Yes, we hear you.
Oh, I can't hear her.
Oh, off and on.
I don't hear her at all.
What about headphones? You have headphones? Is she frozen?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh man. Okay.
Allow
So
allow me
hopefully.
to do this. So Sky is one of my dearest friends. We will
Mhm.
have known each other now for approximately 27 years. I was introduced to polyamory by Sky. I would say that happened about maybe 3 years ago.
Okay.
I had never heard of polyamory before. And I think she was new to it. Um, Being friends for 2 decades, she and I have been through each other's relationships, which, for the most part, as far as I remember, have been monogamous for both of us. And then she started explaining what polyamory is to me. I went out with her on a date, I guess is what that was. I've attended events with her. And it's interesting that when I say that to other people, they say, "Oh, you attended an orgy?" And I said, "No, I never said that. Actually, it was a meet and mingle, and
Mhm.
I spent most of my evening like this."
Yeah.
So the partner she was with helped me out and kind of
So
guided
what
me
were you so
through.
shocked about?
Um, I could tell you the exact moment my mouth hit the floor, which was I saw this couple, cute couple, nothing abnormal about that.
Mhm.
Then she left him, went on to the dance floor, and danced with this other gentleman who turned to the man and kind of gave him one of those head nods. They're dancing, and he is grabbing her backside, and they exchange a kiss. The other man has never moved from where he was originally when she left him to go dance with the other guy. So I guess the song ends, they finish dancing. He comes back over, they say hello, talk for a little bit, and then he goes his way, she stays. And the next guy now proceeds to basically do what the other man just did, which is kind of like love up on her, squeeze her up, kiss her up. And I was like, because first and foremost, growing up in the Caribbean with the type of men that we grew up with in my time frame, because I cannot generalize and paintbrush every Caribbean man. The ones that I was exposed to as I was growing up would have never, ever allowed that in their presence or not. So
Right.
I was shocked. And thankfully, Sky's friend was there, and he kind of explained things to me and guided me through things and explained how things worked and stuff like that. And explained to me that I wasn't a help and I would be cleaning up their floor if I didn't learn to close my mouth. So, the laughter was good because it broke my kind of awkwardness and uncomfortableness, but everyone was very comfortable interacting. I did not feel like everyone was laughing and joking and talking, and people would talk to me, but it's almost like being in other environments. I think they knew I was not part of the party.
You were a guest, I guess.
Yes.
Or a tourist.
I was both. And although very intelligent, successful Black people, men and women, it was in Buckhead, everyone, good conversations, nothing, it's just preference, my preference, as you are maturing and learning who you are and what your preferences are, what your tastes are in what you're attracted to, I learned soon on that I am not built for multiple individuals. First of all, I might not keep people's names straight. That's going to be number one. I'm being sincere. Like, it's too much for me to try to keep up with each different person, number one. Number two, I am working on and striving for something very deep and intimate and personal, and I don't want to develop that with multiple people. I actually think it's harder in some regards to do that with multiple people. So I would rather focus on one and develop that one. And I don't believe in soulmates. I believe that you get as close of a match as personal, and you have to decide if the person meets you emotionally and mentally, but not sexually. Are you okay with that? Or is that something that you can, but you don't want to feel energy or a vibration of being locked down. You want your best friend. You want someone you can have fun with and have adventures with. And relationships are ever evolving. They're dynamic. So who I am with you in my 20s, I am not going to be the same person in my 50s. And American society makes us look at that like bad. But if you're with your best friend, you can look at that person and be like, okay, I didn't know you ever were interested. Let's explore that together. So for me, I would not feel as comfortable, spreading myself between multiple, and for me too, that's an energy thing. Like, I need one energy at a time. I don't want, it just doesn't suit me, is all I could really say, is why I select monogamy.
Okay. You said that, sorry, I just kind of lost my train of thought.
I kind of introduced you, Sky. Can you hear me?
Uh-oh. While you
Something's going on with her mic.
No. Turn the whole computer off and start again.
She probably did that.
Go into your settings.
Her cell phone? Like, use the cell phone instead?
Yeah, I'm using my cell phone because I actually left my computer at work. So, oh yes, you. It had to do with the. Oh yes, one thing I know is funny, but you said you would not be able to keep up with everybody's name, and so don't you keep up with all your friends' names? They don't all have the same name.
So me personally, I have a lot of associates. I do not have a lot of friends. And like I said, even between Sky and I, we've known each other for 27 years. Most of the people that I have in my life, in my that I consider friends, I've had for the least amount would be 5-6 years. 5-6 years easy. Because I don't call anybody friend, just like I don't call anybody mine. You know, for me, polyamory would be like dating without the sex. Okay. So if I am in a mode where I am dating, I may be speaking to multiple individuals, but I'm not sleeping with any of them. Because for me, that occurs within the commitment. That occurs when once you know it's just you and that person exchanging fluids and whatnot. That's a wrap. You know, all the going out with other people and spending nights on the phone, all of that is done because now the focus is on that one person. And you know, something that I find is emotional maturity is really important. Emotional maturity is for me, dating is getting to know that person, getting to feel out that person, getting to see if this is the person that you want to deepen things with. It is not a free for all, you know, let's just I'm you tonight, you didn't know. That's not how I see dating. And I know everyone sees it a little bit differently. And things have changed a lot in 2023 for both genders, male and female. But for me, once I like someone and I get in a committed relationship, I want to explore all of that person. I want to get to know all of that person. I want to share myself with all of that person. So, you know, I don't need other men. If I'm bored or if I need excitement, I call Sky. Like, where are we going? What are we doing? What's on the agenda for this weekend? I don't have to have it fulfilled by another man, especially sexually. So for me, I know if you're not hitting it sexually, there is no...
There's no connection there. What if you really were feeling that person? Oh, hold on. I think she's trying to come back in.
Okay.
Let's see. Sky, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, hey. You missed a lot. You missed out a lot. Half of the conversation.
It was worth the wait.
I've been listening, but I don't know what happened to my computer. But anyway, it wasn't working on my phone either.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Was my introduction okay?
I don't think I heard that part, but I'm sure you're pretty accurate. I'm sure you did it all right.
Well, you know, growing up in Haiti, we didn't date. I didn't know what dating meant until I came to the U.S. Actually, yeah. So, because back home, the way it happens, I don't know about now. In my days, the boy likes you. I mean, typically they'll get a hint if you like them or not, but typically they like you. And they decide to pursue you. They start sending letters or start coming over and trying to convince you to be their girlfriend. Exactly. Now, everybody had a different way of going about things. Some girls like to play hard to catch because they don't want to seem easy. I guess I've always been the easy type. I don't know. So for me, it's always been like, I don't play games. I've always been like this. It's always been my temperament. Like, I do not play games. So if I tell you I'm not feeling you, trust that I'm not feeling you. And no matter what you say, I still won't be feeling you. But the same way too, if I'm feeling you, if you come and talk to me, I was already liking you and feeling you. It's a wrap. As soon as you open your mouth and say, I like you, I say, I like you too. Let's go together. And that's always how it's always happened for me in relationships when I was younger. So we didn't have dating. I mean, it's the Caribbean. You don't just go out with different people, even if you were not sleeping with them. You know, it wasn't a thing. So
right.
I can talk.
Yeah.
Somebody is asking, can someone explain poly, please? So for who?
We were just like trying to talk first before we get into all the questions.
Oh,
but
okay.
Yeah, you can go ahead. Yeah,
that's okay. I jumped in.
Okay.
Where are you in the?
Yeah, so I mean, both the ladies were just saying. So Valerie basically said, she is married in a monogamous relationship, and maybe if she got a divorce, and then later on she would probably consider um, polyamory because she grew up with Haitian parents, and the culture and all that stuff that they ingrain in you. It's hard, to not think about it. So we did ask some questions, and then of course, Kira, it's pretty much kind of like only one person at a time she can focus on, basically. So that's just like a summary of what we talked about. So I don't know if you had questions, Sky, because really soon we're gonna
I
start
have a
taking
lot of
questions.
So for the
Ooh,
ladies who are monogamous, my whole thing is, okay, I'll start with the married Valerie. So how long have you been married?
12 years.
12 years. And like, I guess some of my thoughts about monogamy, I'm not anti-monogamy, just a little, but
I know where it's going.
I'm wondering if where am I going with this thought? Okay. Sexual variety.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the likelihood of your sex life becoming boring after 12 years? And I mean, is it like, I mean, I don't know how personal you want to delve into that arena, but
I don't mind.
sometimes having multiple partners means you have more fun because there's, like sometimes you want Chinese food, sometimes you want pizza, you know what I'm saying?
I heard that.
Sometimes you want some brown rice and peas, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I've heard that before. I've heard that, and I've heard of guys and male and female growing up saying they don't want to be with just one person. That's why they cheat or have somebody on the side, right? They don't want to be with one person. But it depends on you. So for me, I was raised that way, and honestly, I just don't think about it that way. Actually, I remember my husband when we were going to get married, and he had a serious face. I was like, "Are you all right? What are you thinking about?" And he was like, "Am I sure I only want to?" Am I sure I only want to have chicken for the rest of my life? I'm like, man, you do not have to do this. And I think he was joking, but he was a little bit serious. And I haven't had any problems with that. In terms of boredom, honest answer is sometimes you're not thinking about that. It's like, I need sex right now. And if you can give it to me or not, okay. If not, I'm gonna take care of it myself, kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Here's the
yeah.
here's the thought that comes to mind.
Also, I don't have the experience of tasting other. I've always been in a monogamous relationships, when I was having boyfriends and stuff like that. So I never like, I've always been like, loyalty is kind of like integrity. Loyalty is kind of like my core being because of how I was raised, island, Caribbean, the way they teach you is to be like, don't be a cheater and blah, blah, blah. So I never really, so I don't know what it's like. I don't know what it's
I
like.
understand.
So,
And that's by design, because I was raised exactly the same way. And I was very faithful and very monogamous with my partner in the past. But I realized that, and I'm not, negating your choices, of course, because this is your life and how you're living it. But, these are just thoughts just to discuss, is that one thing I realize, especially women, and we're a bunch of women here sitting here from the Caribbean who have been raised, and I believe that we've been raised specifically a little bit differently than American women. And a friend of mine says that's a hard thing to say, but I just know it to be true.
It is.
But we're raised a little bit, but there's a big, in the Caribbean, there's a big religious thing that comes behind, like a wave. I feel like a tidal wave of religion and shaming. There's a lot of shaming on women. They always say back in the Virgin Islands, "Oh, she fast, my son." Yep. And those are girls who are loose, and they go out and their skirts are too short, and they're a little too flirty with guys, and that's a shaming on the girls, right? On the women. But the guys are never fast. They never call men fast, right? They never call
boys. That's not
they're not really like shamed. They like, oh, you know that one, you know who he is, but you don't really hear like
They applaud them.
huh?
They change their
Not
names
that
to
they
them.
applaud them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're promoted. There's a Dan.
Yes.
Yes.
They're promoted.
Skets
Exactly.
and swings and Skettel, and we have all kinds of names, but there's Dan man.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so here's the other side of that coin. There's a lot of women, us, who have been indoctrinated into what is monogamy for our whole life, whether it's through religion or culture or what have you, right? And get in these marriages and are married their whole 20, 30, 40, 50 years and have never been sexually satisfied by their husband and have never even questioned it because they don't even know the difference.
Oh, well.
You know how many women don't have orgasms? They say most women don't have orgasms. So many women, so many married women are just living this life with this dry sexual relationship. I'm not saying you, I'm just saying, I wonder I just wonder if monogamous women and men, even, I'll even say men too. I mean, I'm sure there's some men out there. There are women who are with men that don't perform well. They're not sexually adventurous, and women have been shamed to even be sexually free. So there's this whole culture of no satisfaction, no joy, no juiciness, no love, and it's all in the guise of this pious life that is I mean, some people enjoy it and some people think it's okay, but I don't think it's okay. And I think it's an atrocity to humanity because, I mean, even if you have the one husband for the rest of your life, have a lot of joy and juiciness for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
And my whole thing is, if your husband is not able to satisfy you, are monogamous women willing to say, hey, you ain't doing it?
I think
you should be able to.
Yeah.
I think the communication between the two of you should be one in which you are able to have those. That's the whole thing. You aren't going to have that level of intimacy and connection if you don't have the ability to be vulnerable and honest and open with the person. I will be, even though I don't know the people on this thing, I will be very, very open and transparent. I was in a long-term relationship. And during the course of that relationship, I began to sell sex toys.
Yes.
Now,
yes.
He completely supported me. And at some point in this little business I had, in my mind, I said, well, I'm going to have to test out some of these things in order to really be able to sell them and speak to them and tell their pros and cons, their taste, their da-da-da-da-da. He was down. Like, it wasn't, I would get a box and we would try out the box. And so for me, we created the variety. I do not have a problem throwing on a wig and being Shaniqua for a night. If that's like, you have to be, it depends on the partner. I really think the biggest issue is in the picking. It's not in the men or the women. If one person, if vanilla is not your flavor and you like, Neapolitan, my bad, I stand corrected, then that's fine. Sky, I don't have any problems with you being poly, not one bit. My thing is, are you happy? But for me, I don't like chocolate. I don't want them mixed up. I don't, just give me the strawberry and let's keep moving. You know what I'm saying? You keep it in a sundae, a milkshake, put it on top of a piece of cheesecake, a brownie. I'm okay, but it's the strawberry I want. I don't want all. So that's just for me.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Yeah. I wanted to add to that. So it's like, also the way I think of it is, if I've never had tofu, what am I really missing out on? Like, it's not in your in your
Circle.
menu.
Menu.
Yeah,
Right.
it doesn't bother you if you've never had tofu and you don't really care about having tofu.
That's a good
You know what I
point.
mean?
Yep, that's a good point. So I read a lot of poly blogs, and that's like most of my day actually. It's a little obsessive. So there are folks who are what I call forced into poly. They're monogamous and they're forced into poly, and it's definitely disturbing to me because I feel like everyone should have their own autonomous feelings toward the way they want to live, like both you women. You know what I mean? Like this is like you're very clear on the way you want your relationships to be set up. But sometimes women, and this happens actually more than we actually know, because I mean, some people don't really know that their partner has like, and it's called cheating. It's not called poly, right? So
Right.
they have another partner, a side chick, they'll call it, or what have you. And even when they find out, the women stay in the relationship. Why? Because it is way too difficult to divorce or to separate homes or what have you, children, business, all kinds of household things, and a lot of women live in a state of perpetual just knowing but not knowing, or just living it, and it's just kind of back here in the back of their, it's going on, but they don't question it because they're pretty much taken care of. They live somewhere, blah, 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 blah. And there's women who live like this. And then on the other hand, there's also a set of women. I always say women, probably men, but it's mostly women, that these guys out here are polyamorous, but the women are not. And they're basically tolerating what these men are being polyamorous, like they're tolerating it. I don't think that's cool either, because the women really don't want to be in a even if it's a mono poly relationship, they don't want to be in a relationship like that, but they tolerate it and settle for it. I also think that that's pretty whack too. Thoughts on that?
I have a quick question for you. Are you saying that these women are having a conversation with their guy and the guy is telling them whether they want to be or not, he's poly?
Yes.
Interesting.
Well, my opinion is that's a no-go. So women in general, well, let me not say that. Let me watch my words. Some women have low self-esteem, are lazy, and don't know their worth as a human being. So they will settle for something,
I
right?
agree.
So
For bad treatment.
I know two people currently in my life that are dealing with that, where their significant other has someone else that's number one and they're number two. And then the number one doesn't know about number two, about them, right? And I think it's a fear thing. Some people think they cannot find better out there. And it's just kind of like how we're conditioned to be in this society. And I'm talking about America in specific. Women kind of tolerate a lot of things because the male is is priority or whatever, just like, with sex and everything in the 20s, early 20s and 30s, women didn't have orgasms. They didn't even know what it was, like they had no idea. And then it's the man that gets everything that he wants, but the women doesn't get anything. And I kind of think that kind of plays into it as well, to all of like the past still trickling down to the coming, still staying present in the future and the present. So I think that it's not acceptable. It's not okay. The women have to know their worth and be like, no, I'm not okay with it. And if the man says, well, I'm still going to do what I do, then it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to be a part of it. I'm out.
That
There you go.
agree.
But a lot of people are afraid to walk out.
I know, but
that's a self-worth thing, like she said.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
you're afraid of a lot of things. I think that, especially being in Atlanta, where we have a lot of boss women. Okay? We got a lot of women in Atlanta, I can't speak to every place else because I ain't been every place else, but I can speak to
Mhm.
even people that I know here who are successful, not just business wise, but financially. You know, their lives are together. They are waiting for their Mr. Whomever. And I think it starts with self-love, like you said, Valerie. If I don't love myself, first of all, if I don't really love myself, I can't really love you well.
That's
Because
true.
I won't even treat myself well. How am I going to treat you well? What is one of you or five of you?
Mhm.
So I think it first starts with self-love. And then the second thing is you decide for yourself what is okay. It might not bother me that he gets some every now and again. He might, that might be my weekend. I take a break and I go someplace else. But for somebody else, that might be a no-go. So I think each person has to determine the parameters and limitations and the deal breakers in their own relationships, whether they're monogamous or otherwise. But I also
Exactly.
feel like, you know, I don't want to talk about sisters kind of like that. Like we're just putting up
Well,
with whatever. We're just go along with whatever. I mean, yeah, there's
some
going to be a
do.
percentage,
So,
but
Someone
most of us,
asked if does that make the women weak for staying? And I think it does.
yeah, it does.
I mean, it might be strategic because some women stay because they got a whole house that and they don't got to pay no bills and what have you, and they'll just take that. You know what I'm saying? They'll be like, shoot, I don't got to work.
why
So
can't they stay? Because they just love the hell out of this man and they are not so unhappy and so displaced that they consider this a deal breaker. Like you can't expect
You're so
life to be
smart.
100% perfect.
Exactly.
Right.
Even in a polyamorous relationship, there are going to be issues that arise. There are
Oh, of
going to
course.
be right that you're going to have to work through or talk through. You're still going to evolve over tens of years. So why can it not just be that I love this man? Yes, he gets on my nerves. Sometimes I like to send him on a one-way ticket to Timbuktu, but I don't want him to stay too long because I'm going to miss him. He's a human. He stepped out. I made him pay for it because I'm sorry, men. If you're listening, I'm not that woman. If you do that nonsense, yeah, you're going to have some misery coming your way for a little bit.
Yeah, but what if he like
But
has?
I forgive him. I forgive him and I move on.
Okay, but suppose it's a continuous relationship.
Then we don't have a relationship. You have a relationship someplace else, but it ain't with me. We're not going to be together because I did not sign up for that. That's where the communication comes back in. If we're not on the same page, headed in the same direction, baby, we don't even belong together.
Mm-hmm.
Why
But
we
don't you
together?
agree that a lot of monogamous relationships really lack communication
Big
and
time.
openness and
And
transparency?
honesty,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Hmm.
Thank you, me too. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't allow monogamous people to change, to evolve. Because again, they expect you to be the person that you were at 20 to still be that person at 30 and 40 and 50. And it's like, but we're all changing, we're all evolving, we all have a different mind at each point in our lives. So why is it not okay for me to change my views on certain things? That doesn't mean that, I have to leave or anything like that. So I think there's a big lack of communication, transparency. You cannot be yourself. You cannot be vulnerable. You cannot, you can't, like, how many women can truly come to their husband and be like, honey, I'm really thinking I want something more, you know? Like, it's going to be like, you better not finish that sentence, right? Most of the time, that's how it's going to be. That's the response.
That's
Some of
but
these men, even in our age group out here nowadays, are freaky. Eh? Some of these
Actually,
men,
I've done that before when I was married, and yeah, he was like, yeah, not here.
me
He
as
was like, yeah, it's
well.
not gonna happen.
well,
Right.
you married a monogamous man.
Yeah. And that
Right.
ultimately was the deal breaker because I was like, I really want to do this. I've been talking about it every day for almost 10 years. And I really, really like at this point, I really want to try and live this way because it's so embedded in the way I think. I am suffering because I just can't be free. You
Mhm.
know, his thought is, well, I can be free because you're not going to know. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-mm.
So that's how I ended it. And I was like, yeah, my last question in our relationship was, do you want to try? Because I was like, if it's all about love and happiness and being together forever, why wouldn't you try and see? If I was literally like, let's try this for a few months and see how it is.
Mhm.
Just for the journey. He was like, hard no. And I was like, hard goodbye, because I'm not gonna just keep living this life that I want to live, and you're not willing to take the journey with me. You don't have to, but I felt like, if it's really all about love and stuff, people should at least say, well, I gave it the old college try, but yeah, it's a no.
Agree.
Mhm.
Agree. Yeah.
What if it's the opposite? What if the woman wants to be poly and her man does not?
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. If the man doesn't agree
It's a
and
no-go.
don't want to do it, she got to leave.
Yeah, it's a relationship. You're relating to one another continuously. So you should expect. Well, see, we talk about relationships in one aspect, but I don't know how many of us on this panel are parents, but we are in a committed relationship with these little people who become adults for life, pretty much.
Mhm.
And they change. And we have to go through some of these children's ups and downs and attitudes. And we commit to that. We'll commit to a dog. Okay. But we won't commit to our mate. You have to be on the same page. Sky, if you are poly and he's poly, y'all match. Kira, if he's poly and Kira is not, there is not a match. Because I'm sorry, I don't want you dipping your dipstick in everybody's oil and then coming back and dipping it in me. This not indoctrination for me. It's I'm not built for
Got
that.
it. Someone says, is it possible for someone to be polyamorous and balance his or love and emotion among the multiple partners?
Say that again.
Mitsu, you want to get that? Is it possible?
Hold on, let me highlight it so it can come on the screen. Just tap on it so it can come on the screen. Okay.
Is it possible for someone to be polyamorous and balance his or her love and emotions among the multiple partners?
Absolutely. To be polyamorous and embarrassed. Yes. I mean, personally, I'm just gonna speak on this one. Um, every connection you have is different. If I always refer back to friendship, right? Because there's something everybody pretty much understands. You have, I know I have a, a lot of friends, a lot of acquaintances, but we're not talking about acquaintances, but we're talking about friends, right? People that are in our lives, that I care about. But each person, I have a different kind of relationship with them. Some are closer for specific reasons, and some are less close or not as close for specific reasons. And I have different interaction, different dynamic with each friend. Um, the level of closeness, sorry, is different with each person. So it's the same with romantic partners. You connect differently with each partner. And for me, it's just it's not everybody that you're gonna be super super tight with, or even if you are, it's just a different kind of love, a different kind of connection. Um, some it might take longer for you to realize I really do love this person, not just like hanging out with them, but I really see something serious. I can be vulnerable with that person. That's when I know that I do love this person. I can open up and be myself, um, and all the glory and the downs or whatever. So I think I can definitely balance all my relationships. I actually do. Um, just yeah, it's just different connection. You can't expect everything to look the same. because it's not just like with your children. You love all your children, and they all the connection with your children are so different.
That's
You
what I
don't interact with each one of them the same exact way.
Well, I think
So
that question was really referring to equality, and that's when I think when it said balancing, I think they were saying, are you going to be equal to every person you're involved with? I would say no.
oh
I would say no,
well
because I'm not being. It's every relationship is different. Every reaction is different. Every time frame that you spend with someone is going to be different than someone else. So no, it's not going to be equality at all. Not for me. It's going to be what it is. Each individual that I'm involved with is going to be what it is. Like, it's not, I'm not going to be like, okay, well, you get Monday and you get Tuesday and you get Wednesday. And we're
I
not doing,
agree.
we're not doing like a, well, you had 2 days last week, so I get 2 days. I ain't doing it. I'm not doing
yeah.
the wives over here. You know what I'm saying?
I would assume, Sky, it's not necessary to do that,
It's
right?
not.
Just like with our kids, I have multiple kids, and the way I need to give one of them attention, the others don't need that much.
Absolutely.
Everyone's
Right.
different. So
Everybody's different. Exactly right, Valerie. Because I mean, and also, like, let's say right now we are all grown. Everybody's busy. Everybody has busy lives. We're trying to be on the grind. Those who are working towards retirement as soon as possible. We have uh priorities. I would say. We have goals. We have priorities. So this month I may be able to hang out with this particular person 3, 4 times, and then next month it's like, oops, we can't really see each other this month that much, or maybe only once, just because of whatever's going on in their schedule or my schedule. We can't sync our schedules together,
exactly.
or this person may need me in this moment more than this other person. Let's say somebody has a illness or something going on. Obviously, I'm going to focus my attention on that one person, or going through some emotional stuff that they need me. I'm going to have to focus on that person. Not that I'm going to ignore the other people. It's just right now, this person needs immediate assistance from me, and I want to be there for them. So I don't know if I would call that equality, but you balance it out. You prioritize whatever it is. It's not a one person priority. It's
Yeah.
whoever needs whatever it is at the moment that you try to focus on. And I think they do the same for you as well. So
Right.
That makes sense. And I think that's kind of like that applies to every aspect of your life too. Nothing is going to get 100%. It's just
You
not,
kind of go with the flow.
yeah, it's not
pretty
feasible.
much. Um, Kevin asked, have any of the guests in their adult life date more than one person at a time, going out with other people?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I typically, for me, dating is multiple people. A majority of that experience is on the telephone, talking about the day, talking about interests, talking about whatever was on CNN, seeing if there's an ability for us to communicate openly and easily with a free flow. Sometimes, and especially women know this, you can be attracted to somebody, and as soon as they open their mouth, okay,
Yep.
I'm okay. So once you can establish that communication, that rapport, you may go out. Now you're in that person's energy field. You're feeling each other. Sometimes you like somebody's vibe, sometimes you don't. You know, as you continue to talk and maybe go to a movie, a park, an event, whatever, you're going to find yourself having a natural flow with one person over someone else. And
Hmm.
if that really, the person has similar values, the person, because you're going to have differences in everybody, but if they check most of your boxes, that is, and they're in agreement, that is who you pursue a deeper relationship with, and everybody else gets cut off. Sorry, I didn't mean to make
Right.
it sound like that, but that's the truth.
But I mean, that's typically how it is. When you, even if you were dating one person at a time, right? You establish that connection. You keep connection and all that stuff for you to verify if your box is checked. And then if they don't, then you quit and move on to the next person. Some people are serial daters, and some date at the same time, several people at the same time. So,
I think for me, I don't expect one person to meet all my needs. I don't expect that. This is why I have people like Sky in my life. This is why I have, Sky has met Kimberly. I have Myra. I have people in my life, even some guy friends, because if I need something, I might need to speak to Sky.
right.
He might not be able to help me with that. And please, for God's sakes, I need you to have guy friends. I need you to go on some trips once in a while. I just need you to go away because I need some me time to tend to me and not just you. And in my mind, in a relationship, regardless of whether it's polyamorous or monogamous, you're caring for the next person. You're loving and nurturing the next person. You're supporting the next person. It's not about you. So yeah, I need you guys to go to the bar and go watch a game or something so that I can, maybe we could do a girls trip and y'all do a guys trip and, keep my life exciting. So I am exciting to you. Myself.
Okay, my question is, let me ask quickly. Okay, so what if your mate finds those things in somebody of the opposite sex, not of the same sex?
Question. That's exactly what I was gonna ask.
Like, what then? Like, how do you feel about that?
So, listen, I went to Trinidad with my significant other. This is the one I had been in an extended over 10 years in a relationship with. I was not feeling well one night. If you've ever been to a carnival experience, you're enjoying yourself, you're drinking, okay? This beautiful woman, she was beautiful, I ain't gonna lie, plopped herself in my, at the time, boyfriend's lap and put a walk up, and it didn't bother me because I wanted him to enjoy himself. We paid money, we went to Trinidad, we were here, he danced with multiple people while we were there. However, after you have finished window shopping, when you're ready to sit down and eat, you better come home. I don't care about those things. I don't care if he's attracted to someone else. We used to talk about people who tickled our fancy and stuff like that. The cutoff was once it became something that would cross the line or become intimate or sexual, no. The answer was a no. You understand? And if that became the conversation,
the walk up is a sexual thing.
The walk up is a dry hump. Okay,
that's what it is.
So what I'm gonna do? That is our culture, though, Sky. I grew up my whole life walking up. I grew up from middle school on through till now.
But these
we parade half naked for the world to see. You want me to get upset because he walking up? And she walking up too? We are walking up. You think I was standing there by myself? I want to walk up too.
But what if your mate ends up developing some kind of close emotional connection with somebody else? Not sexual, they're not having sex.
Been there, done that. It's a conversation. This is where emotional maturity comes in.
Okay.
This is where honesty and vulnerability comes in, because he and I were able to sit down and say, okay, what is going on? Is there a problem between us that is causing us now to look outside the relationship? Then the second and the hardest question was, do we still want this from one another? And
but remember, that person does not meet all your needs. So that's one of the needs. It's something that he connects on with somebody else.
He's never going to meet all my needs. He's not Jesus Christ. He's a human being. He's a man.
Okay, so
go ahead, Sai.
So yeah, off of that, what you were saying is this scenario, whether it was real or not, is
say that again.
This scenario, whether it was real or not, I'm just going to add on to it. For example, this particular person that your partner developed an emotional connection to, it's not a sexual connection. They it's not anything that has anything to do with what you guys' situation is. It has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with your situation. It's more like, oh yeah, no, this is a good friend of mine, and
Been there, done that.
she needs me. She called me at 3 a.m. She needs me to come over and help her with the such and such. How do you deal with that?
He had a best friend, and they were best friends before I even met him. Loved her, great lady. But they had this connection that used to just burn me, okay? Eat me alive. Like I wanted that connection with him. And it took time. And God rest her soul, she passed away. Once again, it was a conversation. We talked about it and how I felt. And I had to put on my big woman panties and extend trust and respect, because once I became a police officer and I was in the streets of the Virgin Islands all times of the day and night, and I'm working 16-hour shifts, I'm going on these raids and stuff like that, he had to now extend that same trust to me, because he didn't know for sure if I was really working or if it was somebody else, and he didn't know that. But once again, I remember one time he told me, he said, listen, 24 hours, you could work 23, but when that 24th hour come, I need you here home in bed with me. Okay, bam. Oh, I was okay with that. You understand? He got a call at 2 a.m. one time, and I tell him, look, no, unless she over here washing your clothes, cooking your food, you know what I'm saying? Kill that. Never happened again. It is your relationship. You're going to make it what you want. And if the two people are willing, committed, respectful, honest, and going to put in the work, it can work. But you got to have a foundation there. You got to have something to build on. If you just, oh, you're cute, I'm with you.
Right. So did he have to stop that relationship, or just the person was not calling at all hours anymore?
No, I still don't like her, but it was a co-worker. I don't care. She just rubbed me the wrong way the whole time, and I knew secretly she wanted him. I had to tell him that. I said, like, do you not see what is going on? He's like, nah, I tell you nothing. I said, okay, well, you can play dun if you want to. But I spoke to him and let him know, and I spoke to her and let her know. Should at any point you all be disrespectful and disrespect the commitment, I'm going to have a problem. So once again, that became a conversation. You understand? And so for me, I didn't walk around scared. I didn't walk around.
Poly.
I'm sorry?
If y'all was poly, he could have been with her and you at the same time.
Right.
No, he couldn't.
So this is another thing too. I'm like, so I know typically when, people cheat, right? The first person to blame, the first person you want to have a conversation with is a third party. And I'm like, what happened to the person you're in a relationship with that chose this? Now, I know people are like, oh, well, she knew or he knew. That's not the point to me. It's like they know of your relationship, but it's not their issue. Your partner, I'm not condoning anything. I'm just saying when somebody cheats, we're ready to go kill the third person that your partner cheated with, but you totally ignore your guy who just cheated on you, and you just like, oh, she's a hoe, she's this, she's that. I like, for me, I don't feel like I need to have a conversation with a woman that I feel like is approaching my men, because my man should be man enough to not put himself in that position. And if he did, he needs to be man enough to handle it with her. Like, I should not have to get in the middle of it.
Correct.
You don't have to. Everybody is different, so you'll handle it the way you see fit, and somebody else will handle it the way they see fit. It depends on the conditions. You understand? Look, I've cheated. Okay, I was in a relationship and I cheated. One of the big things that stopped me from cheating is the hurt that I put him through because of what I did. Instead of just being woman enough to say, we're having issues, I'm having an issue, I'm unhappy about this, I just cheated. And then I felt so bad, I told him. It ended the relationship, but it was somebody that I really care. I still care about him to this day, but we're not in a good place because I couldn't just be respectful and just woman up and say this ain't working.
Right. Again, you probably weren't emotionally as mature as you are today to even have that conversation. I mean, we weren't even taught to have conversations. I feel like growing up in the Caribbean as kids, right? Our parents, when we grow up, all of a sudden we should know everything. But when we were growing up, we were
Right.
not even allowed to question anybody. Like, shut up. Why are you asking questions? I just tell you to do something, you go ahead and do it the way I ask you to.
Right.
Even if it doesn't make sense, you cannot ask questions, right? And then all of a sudden, and that's why, that's one of the things I'm really working on because I know all the dysfunctional things that were in my childhood, and I'm trying to teach my children differently. Like, ask any questions you feel like you need clarity for, and
Exactly.
then I will answer. No question is dumb and no question is too intrusive. I want you to ask all the questions you feel like asking
That's
so
right.
you can get in the habit of having a conversation about whatever it is that's bothering you.
Mhm. Someone
So,
says that isn't poly basically just having an open relationship?
not necessarily. It can be, but not necessarily.
I would say
Poly
yes
is
and no.
open usually. Usually poly is open, but open relationship, when you refer to an open relationship, typically it's like a couple seeking to have fun outside of their relationship. I don't want to say marriage because it's not just married couple that do that, but outside of their relationship without any emotional attachment. That's what an open relationship is. But polyamory is about building connections, like strong connections, relationships, but it can just be casual stuff as well. It is basically what you want it to be. But polyamory fundamentally is about seeking meaningful relationships. I don't know if you
Mhm.
have something to add to that, Sky.
You said it. That's what I was gonna say.
We're in sync tonight. It's also not only about sex, in my opinion. Yes. think that I think the issue most people have with polyamory is dwelling on the sexual um, component. For me, it is about deeper connections. That's right. Who was that? Aries. Yes. Um, Poly works for people that are all in agreement with that kind of relationship. My friend is in a poly relationship, and her husband and sister wife have such a beautiful union together. That's great. I like to hear success stories.
But that part about being all in agreement is what's
Right.
really, really, really important. If you're both monogamous and you agree, then you are holding one head, one heart. If you're polyamorous and agree, the problem comes in when you're not on the same page and people
And that's
agree
why we're trying to emphasize on it consent. Consent, consent.
and
You know?
communicate.
Yeah. Yeah. In poly, the other relationships, a specific sexuality. No, I mean, if you're a bi man and you want a boyfriend and a girlfriend, then that's your prerogative. If you're a bi woman, same thing. If you're trans or well, we're not supposed to say trans. If you're like queer or yeah, well, different things. I mean, it's pretty much polyamory is for anybody. It's not specific to heterosexual people or or just gay people. It could be pretty much for anybody because everybody feel the same love. We all have the same heart. We all have the same feelings. It's not really about our sexual orientation or our sexuality, really.
So, do you guys, ladies, think that, oh, this is what I think, but what do you think about this? I believe in about maybe 100 to 200 years from now, we're going to be more poly than we are monogamous. What do you think?
I think
I mean, I think it's definitely. Go ahead, Valerie. Sorry.
oh, no, it's okay. I was just going to say I can agree with that because Monogamous relationships were kind of like a construct that was created by men. You know, everything was about dominating the woman and having control of the woman. So I think now
Mhm.
with all of the movements going on and people being more honest and more relationships are seen, more polyamorous, relationships are seen, it's going to become more, not, I can't say natural, but it's just going to be something that's
More accepted.
Normalized.
exactly. And I just think it makes sense. It
Yeah.
just makes sense.
Yeah.
That's
I
the way
agree.
I put it.
I agree. You know, like when you really look at monogamy, to me, honestly, my thoughts on monogamy is I think monogamy is toxic. And I think marriage is
Mhm.
a construct that needs to be destroyed. And I also
Well,
think that,
darn.
yes, because, I can go into, I don't want to go into it that deep, but
Destroying and annihilating is
I
that's
want it
pretty
to
deep.
be blown off the face of the planet.
Just do away
Gone.
with my way of life. Just
Yes, it needs to disappear.
smite me from the earth.
Absolutely. However, I mean, like when you really look at the extremes, the severe extremes of monogamy, toxic monogamy, marriage, and even polygamy, which is multiple loves, but it's still very toxic, especially polygyny, one man, multiple women, patriarchal society where the man is the king and these women are the subservient slaves to this man. Anyway, look at how women in these countries are getting their clitoris cut the hell off. For years, we're
Yeah.
talking hundreds of years, this has been a thing where women have to get their clitoris cut off so that they don't enjoy pleasure, the pleasure of sex. I mean, this has been ingrained in women doing it. The grandmothers are coming to cut their granddaughter's clitoris off.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how ridiculous.
Yeah.
So we are social beings, but although I respect your position and your opinion, I feel that everybody should be allowed to choose what is best for them.
I
Just like
agree.
you might be Lutheran or Catholic or Muslim or Buddhist or
But here's my thought on that.
wait, let me finish.
Go ahead.
And for me, my thing is, if we are saying love is love, and I choose that I want to immerse myself in one person versus 3, 4, 5, then I should be allowed to enjoy and experience love the way that best fills me. And if I find someone that reciprocates that in the same manner that I do, then we're happy. And that's what, like I told you, Sky, I don't care if you want to do 2, 5, 10. If you are happy and healthy, I do not care.
What I'm saying is, here's the part. If I'm poly, I could still be with one person and be completely happy. I don't need 10 partners because I'm checking off all these boxes because I got to have boxes filled. What I'm saying to you and all is, the truth of the matter is, it is not a choice. Valerie did not make a choice based on her own free will. She made a choice because she's been indoctrinated into a culture, into a society that from childhood till now, this is all that has been programmed in the music, Disney, everything
Movies,
that we see
everything.
and do is all about monogamous relationships. That is no choice. Polyamory is new. I mean, I grew up in a monogamous. I thought monogamy was what we're supposed to do. That's what I thought was how we're supposed to live.
But we saw dysfunctional monogamy, but we still thought it was okay.
Exactly.
Right. But guess what? Monogamy for me, let me tell you, when I was monogamous, I was the best monogamous person out there. I was faithful to the bone. I did everything. I am a certified wife. I do better than most of these married monogamous women out here. Hands down. I can blow a wife away. Okay. Because when I do it to the fullest. But what I'm saying is, there was no choice for us. I don't even think the choice. I mean, I'm confident that you have chosen monogamy, you've looked at what's going on in the world and you say, you know what, this is the option for me based on how I feel and what have you. And Valerie as well. I'm using Valerie as an example, by the way. But what I'm saying is most of us are not given a choice. Like, we don't teach our children. I've been teaching my children, you can be monogamous, you can be polyamorous, you can be whatever kind of love style you want. Just invite me, but I ain't paying. So you know what I'm saying? Like, just do whatever works for you. I'm okay with it. But our parents didn't teach us that. My grandmother told me to find a husband and get married.
Yeah.
Like,
They didn't know this.
When I got pregnant with my son, my first child, the only thing my mom said is, when are you getting married? And I was
they
like,
can't teach you what they don't know. You can't get water from a stone. I was raised by my grandparents, so I know they did not know about poly anything.
But what I'm saying is, monogamy is not. People are not choosing monogamy. This is why we're doing a lot of education and stuff. Monogamy is not a choice. Monogamy is shoved down your throat, and that's all you have. And the shaming on trying to be poly, the shaming and the miseducation on people like myself is so thick. You know what I mean? It's so thick on how people look at me for wanting to love more than one person. Oh my God. It's like, it's so funny because you know who your real friends are, but I have friends who don't even want to deal with me because they don't like my lifestyle. They are appalled and disgusted.
But I don't want you to take the fact that you've experienced that discrimination and somehow turn that into a anti-monogamous position.
It's not anti-monogamous.
Because my thing is, you are free to love how you desire to love, which is poly. I am free to love how I desire to love, which is monogamous. And I feel this way, not because of mommy and daddy, not because we've discrimination and dysfunction is one thing that we, unfortunately, in our communities are familiar with, whether it be from our households, whether it be from how we were brought up, whether it be the constructs are changing. This is not just about, monogamy was shoved down our throat, because even in the Bible, you have men with multiple wives. Okay,
but not women, though.
I understand that, but the Bible wasn't written by women. So it's a construct, once again, which is what I said before. And we have to understand that as the constructs are changing, because we could apply this to the fact that long ago, the LGBTQ plus community was not acknowledged. You know, the type of discrimination and violence and things that they used to endure for sharing their love the way that they felt it and wanted it to be. You understand what I'm saying? Interracial love. At one point, I think that was illegal. They also were demonized for expressing their love the way that felt true to them. And I think that this more so should be a conversation about embracing however it is you choose to love. Polyamory is a more new construct. You can't compare it back then in the 70s because we weren't even aware. Like, we grew up before the internet even existed, and the way that we are able to function now because of its existence, even to it being in your watch, is different. And so the way we have to evolve is different. But I don't want it to sound like because I choose to share my fluids with only one person and vice versa, somehow I've been indoctrinated, or I'm somehow at a disadvantage, or this is what makes me feel good.
No, I mean, I would agree with some of it, because, you know, if this is a clear choice, if this is like the choice that you're truly making, not somebody coercing you into making it, you know, then it's okay.
Years old. Who's gonna coerce me to?
Excuse me. I know, but a lot of people, they are not as strong as you are, or knowledge or intelligent as you are. So some people may coerce them into something. Or let's say a guy, excuse me.
Thank you, by the way.
Yes, who decides to be in relationships with different women, but as my woman, you cannot do that.
Mhm.
Like, I have the right to do this because I'm a man. And while the woman may want the same thing, but this person is telling them they cannot. So this is the kind of thing that we're against. I'm not against, because again, just like polyamory is a choice, monogamy is a choice. We just want the choice to be made without coercion, without shame, without fear, because a lot of people too, they choose monogamy because they can't live with the stigma that somebody may think, oh, you a weak man for allowing your wife or your girlfriend to have other relationships,
Yeah.
or you must be a very weak and insecure woman to allow this man to have other partners. So that's the point where it's kind of like, okay, I don't like this. This is toxic. It's an indoctrination, and it's all of it. It's unhealthy, dysfunctional. As long as you making a conscious choice to be monogamous, then it's clear. It's clean. It's a clean choice. Then I think there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for me, simply, I fall in love. Not only do I not want to fall in love with multiple people, it doesn't. I don't know how to explain. It doesn't feel good to me. It would be like me loving women come tomorrow. Like, no, I can't. I You could offer me $1 million and I could not fake that.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I have been able to be in Sky's presence and be around. Listen, it is a very enjoyable experience when the guys are around and I joke with them and we're all laughing and they poke fun at me like I'm their little sister. Sometimes some of them get too out of hand, but it is a nice experience. They are all intelligent. They are all relatively mature. They are all pleasant and enjoyable. And it is a nice experience. And they don't act like they have no home training. And they love Sky. Who wouldn't? She's fun. She's vibrant. She's beautiful. So I enjoy her experience. I just don't want to sign up.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Another thing, that's fine. Another thing that people don't realize, the benefits. There's so many benefits of polyamory that even if I had the one person that just made my heart sing, and I chose one, it would still not be to an advantage for me, because you get more benefits when you have multiple partners. And the one thing that I was just reading today, that is another social construct that people feel is normal, and it has been normalized, is a nuclear family. And the nuclear family is death to the extended family. Every time you get the husband and wife and the kids, and they have to go get their own house and go that way and be by themselves and try to raise these children alone. And then, of course, because you have to work to live, to eat, then you have, especially if it's only one parent or both parents working most of the time, then you have these kids that are being raised alone. The extended family is the true family that we should all really be cultivating. And that doesn't necessarily look like grandma's here or aunts or cousins or what have you. It could be whatever community of people are around to help support raising the children and raising the family. And this is another construct that, monogamy has created. The economy, because people want to look like, oh, why would you still be living at home with your mother? When in actuality, if you have children, you need your mother, you need your grandmother, you need the aunties and the elders to help with these children. That is the real truth. How many people leave early in the crack of dawn and then come back late in the evening? What are these children doing? Yeah. They are raising themselves by TV and internet. They're latchkey kids. How many kids are latchkey kids? Why? Because there's no family around. So polyamory offers the extension of family, in that having more people around to help with the family.
It's a great advantage of polyamory. if your community is around you. Absolutely.
What
Yeah,
are
so
your
I mean there are so many. What's that?
what are your advantages? Me too. What are the
Um,
benefits to you being polyamorous?
Honestly, right now it's mainly me. It's about me. I am able to live my life fully the way that I've always felt like I needed to, but didn't know how to. I am very happy. And even with no partners, I am very happy because I know that I can just be me. I don't care about what anybody else thinks. I don't care how somebody else is thinking of me in their head, the story that they're making up about me. They don't know me. The people who get to be in my life are very special, and I get to receive love and give love how I know how to give love. And that's spreading it like wildfire. No, I'm kidding. No, but seriously though, Sky and I, we were just talking about it. I'm a nurturer and I am a caregiver. I love to when I can, I give to my people, not necessarily monetary or gifts. It's just myself, my time. I want to come hang out with Val and her family for a couple hours this month because I can, and we can sit down and have a conversation. We're there for each other. I can be there when if she needs me to help out with whatever it is. So at this moment, it's mainly for me, but also um, a couple of my partners are kind of involved with my children. One of them, helps out with certain conversations, and because I'm a single mom, so having more men in their lives as boys, I think is very beneficial. To see different things, have different ideas, have different point of views. Because the one thing I always say, I'm raising my children, but I don't expect them to believe everything I say. I want them to form their own opinion, but I want to expose them to all the different choices, all the different options out there. And you choose not based on what I believe you should choose, not on what I see fit for you, but you making your own choices. So them being exposed to different ideas, different men is a great advantage. But yeah, hopefully one day I'll build that community because I love it. I love when I have a lot of people around me. I do have a little village. They're not necessarily just lovers, they're friends. I don't have family in Georgia, so I have very close friends who are there for me whenever I need it. I can call and somebody's going to be there for me. So I am grateful for that. And yeah,
Nice.
I have the same thing.
Hey.
yeah,
And so my thing is quality, not quantity. I
yes,
have a grandchild, and a lot of my sister friends are the ones who stepped up and helped to make sure I have my sisters. I have my big brother who helps with my children. Um, I have an ex who helps and steps in. He steps in if I need help or they need help. And I think that was just about having quality people that I selected, people who understand and are mature. And even though I'm monogamous, I have the same thing. I have a village and a network of women, and then I have some male friends. I had a career day the other day, and some of those male friends showed up and presented. So I mean, I think that comes down to not necessarily which way you prefer, but you making those
How you set
connections
it
and
up.
you building those relationships. Like I said, these are all relationships. I do
mm-hmm,
not have to be sleeping with you as a
Yep.
man
right,
in my life for you to have a connection with my children. I have a very dear friend who is a gay man, and he is one of the listen, my children love him. Okay. And no, I don't concern about, oh, is he gonna, or are they gonna? No, because I need my children to understand that people are what you're looking at, not who they choose to sleep with.
exactly. I agree. Somebody asked a question. How do you go about finding and building the relationships? Sky, you want to answer?
Hoeing is knowing, you know what I'm saying? But finding and building. So finding, for me, I like dating apps. That's kind of where I am, but I jump on and off just as soon as I get bored. I get back on and then I jump back off, see if I go fishing and see if there's any fish in the sea, and then I jump back out. And then the building is, that's the work. So it's just like learning people, talking a lot, meeting up, hanging with them, spending time. I mean, it's very that simple. I know for me now, though, I can tell you right now, I can't date any more monogamous people. It is a hard no for me because I have done it so many times, and I just can't get through to people how like I'm not going to choose them only. And I can't, it gets too sad because it's like one guy I was dating for a while, he was like, and he's like, well, I'm catching feelings, right? And I said, that's cool. I like catching feelings too. And he's like, no, this is not good because I don't want you to go anywhere. And I'm like, well, that's going to be a problem. So yeah, so I was like, we ended it because he just got really upset about the fact that I would, I'm not going to be here like, I'm not going to be monogamous. And I told him it was honest and open and everything, but he didn't like that. And I just, I can't do it anymore because once someone is making me feel like, slut shaming me and, oh, you just want to be with a bunch of N people and, that kind of stuff, I just can't do it. So, yeah.
Honestly, for me, dating websites, because I'm a very busy person, but the internet allows me to talk to multiple people in a shape or form, dating online without having to meet or we do the conversations first. But that's pretty much how I meet people. But as far as building relationships, from the second that I knew I wasn't gonna be in a marriage anymore, monogamous people were scratched off my list. Like, no. It's a hard no for me. It's always been from that point on because I personally do not have the energy or even the desire to educate a monogamous person on how to be in a relationship with me, a polyamorous person.
Right.
It's too much work that I'm not willing to do. So if you're not already and even with polyamorous, even with people who claim they are polyamorous, you gotta also go through it to see if it's not polyfuckery. Right.
Poly frauds, yes.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So even with those people, I have to be very, very careful. And it's even on my dating profile. The first thing you see on my bio, I am polyamorous in capital letter, all of it. Like I'm screaming, I'm polyamorous. Don't come at me if you're not,
Yeah.
So, yes. So dating apps, yeah, I think there are some poly dating apps. The person asked, is there not poly dating apps? I think there might be some out there. I don't know specifically, but I know OK Cupid is very polyamory friendly because it tells you exactly if the person is looking for monogamy or non-monogamy. That way you can swipe left if it says non-monogamy and that's not what you want.
Tinder's doing the same thing now.
I went on Tinder very early on after the divorce. I was on there for 2 weeks and I was like, I cannot. And then there's Bumble. Bumble does not tell you, so it's it's like the lottery when you start talking to them. Now, like I said, it's on my bio. So anybody who swipes right on me should have read my bio and see that I am polyamorous. But most people don't read. And literally, I've had so many people, I'm like, did you read my bio? Then he's like, honestly, no, I just saw your cute picture and then I just swipe. And it's like, well, I actually at this point, I don't even want to talk to you, you know?
Yeah.
So I unmatch very quickly. But I put it on my bio to make sure. But Bumble does not really give you that option. Hinge, somewhat. Those are the three that I've actually used. But I haven't really used Hinge
I've
that
never
much.
even heard of Hinge.
Right, right. I think I ended up talking like on the phone with one person that I met on Hinge, and it turned out to be so. But okay, Cupid, I feel like it's a great site. Also because it has so many questions, you can start to get into know the person before you even have a conversation with them, because you can click on the questions to see how they answer, if it's somebody you even want to start a conversation with. So
yeah, there was so I'm the crazy person on OkCupid that has answered probably almost 3,000 questions. Yes.
I think I'm at a few hundred still.
So I've done about maybe somewhere between 2,500. It's over 2,500, so it's probably like 27.
Right.
Yeah. So I met someone who matched with me 100%. Right.
I've had 99%.
Yeah, I met someone who matched with me 100%, and we went out once, and I just couldn't get in. I couldn't get into it. He was poly.
Really?
I couldn't.
What happened?
Well, first of all, he was white, and he wasn't attractive. So I'm not.
Did you know he was white before you went out with him?
Yeah, so that wasn't an issue, but in somewhere in my Rolodex of issues, it became an issue. Like, also because I felt like, you know, I don't have a problem with dating someone white. I have a problem when I am your fetish.
Right. I will not be that.
Yeah, all his women are all Black women, and I'm not trying to be your fantasy type of person. I was like, yeah, no. No, yeah, it was gonna be a no. And then no. But it was cool meeting him. I mean, friend wise, it would have been cool, but it's just, and then also to me, long distance, like if you live way north, like Suwannee and Lawrenceville, I ain't gonna never see you. Okay. I'm not gonna be driving across the country of Georgia. I'm not doing that. You're gonna have to fly. You're gonna have to fly to see me. I'm not going through the city and above. I'm not doing that. No.
When I tell you, all my relationships actually have been long distance, because I don't live in Georgia. I live in Gainesville, Georgia. It's not Georgia.
You live in Canada.
I know, right? So all my relationships, honestly, are very long distance. One partner lives about an hour and a half away with no traffic.
No. If it's over 30 minutes, I can't commit. It's just gonna be a no for me.
It's commitment. Look at Kira's face. Kira's like, huh?
Yeah.
No, and partially I'm laughing too because I'm listening to you all, and my 13-year relationship was from a dating app, but I had a relationship for I guess a little over a year. I met him at is it Sudo?
Yeah.
So what are those two? I have had two men try to talk to me at the grocery store, and I had one of the sweetest guys ever. I met at AutoZone. So like, I know, right? Because this guy knows how I am with my car. So yeah, I use the dating apps, but for some reason I also meet people organically. So and you just get a phone number and build from there. I didn't ask. Well, so do I did. Yeah. I did that. I initiated that one, but the rest, the grocery store and the AutoZone, that wasn't me.
Oh, let me tell you guys a story. So we have this UPS man, and he's like the cutest thing. I mean, it's like, okay. So he started, because we used to have just random UPS, And then he started delivering, and I was like talking to my coworker. I'm like, oh, he's really cute. I'm going for it. So, so I start hitting on this man. Every time he brings a package for us, I'm always like flirting with them. And he's like so cool about it, so nice. He's not like flirting hard. He's just responding subtly, but you can tell like, okay, so finally, one day I was like, man, I wonder if he's married, if that's why he's responding like that. Because, so finally one day I asked him, hey, dude, are you married? He's like, yeah, I'm married. I have so many kids and this and that. I said, okay, I apologize, my dude. I'm so sorry. I didn't know you were married because I didn't see a ring. And I was like, I didn't mean to be disrespectful. Just kind of, I thought you were very handsome and just shooting my shot. He's like, oh, it's all good. No biggie. And now we're friends. We're cool people. He can't come to the plaza and not stop by the shop and say hi, and have a conversation with us. But, it's pretty cool. I shoot my shot if I have to. If I like you, I'm not waiting for you to make the move. I'm gonna make the move. Like, yeah.
I agree.
Valerie's over there like,
especially at 50 years old, anybody got no time for that. I think you're looking like, what we saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't do it. I am too reserved out in the world. I can't. If anyone,
you're not sitting your shot, guy.
Oh no, I don't. Only on an app. I just swipe right and I'll be like, hey, I mean that kind of thing. But I'm not talking to nobody in the street like, hey, can I get
I swear every time I see you, I learn something new. It's like, what? Why you not sitting your shot, girl? You're missing out.
I'm not asking no man for no phone number out in the street.
You're not asking for the phone number. Like
you're just having a conversation.
And so I was trying to do the eye contact thing, but he was trying to turn his eye. Like I knew he was watching me. I could sense it. I could see it. But every time I tried to turn to watch him, he come away. Okay. I put a stop to that. I came over and I was like, hey, and then a song came on and you do a little dance. And eventually he kind of like danced with me and I was like, okay, God, that was like pulling teeth, but he's a great guy. Absolutely great guy. Absolutely.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's why I tell people.
A blessing in many ways for me. So yeah, I shoot your shot, Sky.
That's it. Yeah, don't play games. You like the man, go for it. Because the same way he comes at you, you can go at him. Like, hey, dude. I mean, I've done it so many times. Hey, I think you're sexy. I would do you one. That's
it. Not like that. I'm not like
that. Listen. I've done that one. But no, I think we're grown and but also I think people get butt hurt when they get turned down. I'm okay with rejection. Just because I like you doesn't mean that you're gonna feel the same way. And that's what I'm trying for people to understand. Because some guys, when they come talk to you, they get all offended that you're like, I don't like you in that way. Right. And I'm just like, I don't like you in that way, but it is what it is. Because if I were to be or sleep with every man that said they like me, geez, I definitely would not have time to do anything else in my life. So it's like, no, I know when I'm asking, it's a 50-50, yes or no. And I'm okay with the no as well. When I get the yes, it's like, yes. But if it's a no, all right, I respect that. Thank you very much for your time and keep it moving. That's it.
I think it's important to teach our kids that too.
Exactly.
Get into relationships and to be confident, but if they get turned down, it's okay too. That means it's not
exactly
almost like it's
even it's not even just relationships. I always tell my kids, like, when you ask a question, when you ask somebody for something, always expect a no answer. Can you handle the no? If you can't handle the no, then don't ask at all.
That's
true. That is
same thing with the answer. If you cannot handle the answer your partner might give you, don't ask the question.
The question. Exactly. So, well, it's been an hour and 44 minutes. I know this conversation is like, it's never stopping. But I know we are all working women. Um,
Yep.
Thank you, ladies, for coming on. This was amazing. I love
pleasure.
how, and like we tell everybody, please make sure you send us questions that you would like for us to talk about. If you're interested in coming on the show, let us know why, and then we'll put you on. Well, we don't mind people coming. We love it when we have guests. So we want to thank Kira and Valerie for coming on tonight.
Thank
Make
you.
sure
My
you
pleasure.
follow our pages. We are going to rename the pages for you to follow. So just stick with us. Hopefully by next week, we'll have all the information in one place for you guys. But thank you for supporting us. Just keep sharing. Just keep coming on when we're on. It's every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Sky and me too will be talking about polyamory endlessly.
We can. And we can. And we can.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Marie. Enjoyed this. I hope you do it again soon. Aries, every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Aries, every Wednesday, 9 p.m. Join us on the YouTube. Remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's Poly Haitian Hottie. But like we said, the name is going to be different coming up. So you guys can follow just one page. And on not Facebook, Instagram, it's the same as well. Maybe if you guys want to get followed, you can let them know where to find you.
I don't do Instagram. I don't
Okay.
Me
It's
neither.
all
I
good.
mean, all my stuff is my name, but I'm not a social media. I
Okay.
find recipes and stuff.
Me either.
All right. Well,
Good.
sounds good. Thank you for taking the time to come talk to us about your lifestyle and how, you view us as well.
Absolutely a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. It
Thank
was
Good night, guys.
Have a good
Bye.
night.
you.
Peace.
You
Night.
too.